Welcome back to Beat Up Builds. My name's Daniel. This week we're going to put in a kill switch and I'll show you how. There are three types of immobilizers. You can do a battery disconnect. You can do what we're going to do today, which is a kill switch, which that's just a switch in the 12-volt wire to the coil. So when you flip that off, there's no power to the coil. Engine won't run that way. You can't steal your car or truck or whatever. You could also put one of those switches on the starter solenoid wire, so that way when you hit it to crank the engine over, nothing happens there. That's another thing you could do. There's a couple schools of thought on how to hide the switch. Some people will hide it in plain sight. I've seen them use it like the window lock button has that. My truck does have one. I've seen people that hide it under the dash or like under the seat. So you could do something like that. What I'm going to do is there's a pocket under the radio that I really don't use. I put this Dale Earnhardt car in there because it's cool. I'm going to put it in there, and you won't really be able to see it that well even without the car in there. And then what I'll do is I'll slip the car back in front of it, just like I always have it, and that's going to hide it. So let's get started. I'll show you how to do it. What you want to do with the wiring, you want to locate your ignition coil. Mine has the ignition module mounted to the top. Most of them are just going to be this bottom part here. It looks very like a cylindrical object. It's going to be marked plus and minus. You want to use the plus. You're going to take the plus wire off, tap into that, run it to the switch, and then run a wire back to right here. And that's going to make your kill switch work. Alright, I got the little pocket out. I'm going to drill a hole. I'm going to try and keep it in the corner here somewhere. And then the car will go right in front of it and block it. So I'm going to do that right now. I got the switch in here. It's pretty well hidden. And then if you stick the car in here, you're never going to see that. As you can see in the driver's seat, it's not very noticeable, even with the car removed. If I hold it down here, you can see it in there. It's easy to just put your hand in there and switch it. And then if you put the little car in there, nobody will ever know. I got everything wired up, it's all installed. That's a really cheap mod. It's like 20 bucks probably to do everything, provided you have a drill and a drill bit. You turn it off, it doesn't start. Turn it back on, give it a little gas, starts right up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll throw a couple diagrams at the end here, that way you can see a better idea how to do all that. But that's it, easy mod. Take care. As promised, here's a diagram. 12 volts would normally come in here and then go to the positive side of the coil. Then when your key's on, you'll have power to your coil. Ignition works. So what we've done, we've taken this 12 volts, we connected another wire here, ran it inside to the switch, and if that switch is on, it'll go through here and go to the positive side, and it'll still work just as it was intended to work. But if we flip this switch the other way, 12 volts will not come out of here and go here, so you'll have no power at the coil, there'll be no spark, you can't drive away with your vehicle. So that's kind of what we did today, super simple. And then I wanted to make this one too for the starter. So normally your starter has a really big lug that goes to the battery typically. Then there's this little one that comes off, and that's coming from the key. So this actually tells it to start. There's always power here, but this is what tells it to start cranking basically. So what we've done is normally it would come here and go there, but we've once again run it to the switch. The switch is on, keeps going, works as intended. If you flip it the other way, It won't come out here. Starter won't work. So that's something else you could do if you really want to super duper protect it. You could have a couple different kill switches. The other thing you can do is the battery shut off. I've mostly seen ones that like you unscrew it with a little thumb screw or something like that. I've recently seen one that works on like a little key fob that you click. I really don't have a lot of faith in that. It might work great at first, but I don't think that's going to last very long, and I really don't think I'd trust that unless there was a very reputable company making that. But that's another option. So you could have the kill switch, you could have the starter, and you could have a battery disconnect. And then, I mean, they got to be pretty smart to figure all that out. They're probably not going to. One thing to keep in mind is if you just do the starter one, they could still potentially, if you have a stick shift, pop start your car. That's something to be aware of. So keep that in mind. If you live in LA, I'd probably do all three. They seem to steal everything there.